Hi, and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a January transfer move to Arsenal. And also I've got to say a very happy new year to each and everyone watching the show today. It's the 1st of January. That means the transfer window is open, right? And of course, the January transfer window for the whole of January, that window is open. You can buy, you can sell players. Are Arsenal going to buy anybody? Is what a lot of people are asking. Because you know what? Usually when we get to January, right, and we don't end up buying anyone half the time anyway, because you know what Arsene Wenger's like. But normally when we get to January, we normally lead a lot of players. Since I've been doing this show, we always seem to need a defensive midfielder, a goalkeeper, defenders, a striker. We always seem to need all those things. But at the moment, defensively, we ain't bad, you know what I mean? Mustafi, Koscielny, Rob Holding, Gabriel. That's decent. You got cover at left back. I suppose the one area right back, you don't really have a cover for that. So you've got Carl Jenkinson and Debuchy, but Debuchy looks like he's definitely on his way out. Carl Jenkinson could be on his way out as well. So maybe right back, goalkeeper, we're fine. Ospina and Petr Cech and Martinez, we're safe there. In the midfield, maybe somebody for Santi. Santi, as we know, has been out long term. Maybe a replacement for Santi Cazorla, because he's been missing. But defensive midfielders-wise, we seem to have players. And up front, striker-wise, Alexis has been doing a fantastic job. Welbeck's coming back. Giroud's been scoring goals. Walcott's been scoring goals. We don't know really, on paper, we don't really need much. And sort of Wenger's been coming out and saying that, listen, he's not really looking too hard to buy anyone in January. However, as he always says, if somebody of real quality comes up, he will consider it. And one of the positions is surely the Santi Cazorla one. That one for me is a position that I reckon Arsenal, if a player did come up in that position, they maybe should look at that, because Santi has got this Achilles injury that's been bothering him. He's had an operation on it, but it's kept him out now for quite a long time this season. And we're missing Santi, and we're missing that creativity in midfield. So maybe a player like that, of that ilk, maybe a Isco or somebody like that would be a good shout for Arsenal to bring in. He may be available during January. A player of real quality that comes up and is available. Maybe we should go for somebody like that. Then you've got to consider that there's players at Arsenal that we need to get signed to new contract. Ozil and Alexis still haven't signed those deals. We need those signed. Alexis is starting to make noises like he will stay. We need to get those deals done as soon as possible, as far as I'm concerned. I was reading today, Juventus, again, looking at Alexis. They'd love to pair Alexis, with Higuain and Dybala up front, and that would be an awesome attacking force. They're looking, and that would be tempting to somebody like an Alexis as well. So we need to tie Alexis down to a deal. Then there's other guys with contracts coming out. Mertesacker, what's happening with him? He's out of contract at the end of the season. Santi is out of contract at the end of the season as well. So he could have, he could effectively right now talk to clubs about moving on. Right now, Santi Cazorla could talk to clubs. Even though he's injured, he could talk to them about moving on. Yaya Sinogo's out of contract. All right, we know he hasn't really played. But, there's players where their deals are coming to an end. And players getting linked with moves away, a lot of them. Oxlade-Chamberlain has been the big one, excuse me, that has been linked with a move away. He was linked with Liverpool. I'm glad to see that it's all come out that it's a load of nonsense. Klopp come out and said, listen, we're not looking at Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. Ox has come out himself and said, listen, I'm not looking to move away. So that's good news, because Ox is actually playing pretty well this season. And I think he's going to be a very important player for us right now, right up until the end of the season. So Ox going nowhere. So if you've been worried about that one. But let's have a look at some of the players that have been linked with a move to Arsenal today. Now, Steven Nzonzi is an interesting one. As I said, we seem to have quite a few players in that sort of defensive midfielder sort of position. But then remember, Mohamed El Nene, for instance, he's going to be away for a month. He's going to be going with Egypt to the Africa Cup of Nations, so we might not see him. So Nzonzi, that might not be a bad shot. He's a quality player. He was very good at Stoke, very commanding in that midfield area. He's very strong, very tall, rangy, and he's been playing very well for Sevilla. Of course, he was previously at Stoke City, so he knows the Premier League, and he's been linked with a move to Arsenal today. He's also been linked with Chelsea, and he's been linked with Manchester City. So Steven Nzonzi being linked with a move to Arsenal today. Another player that's been heavily linked across a lot of media outlets today is Chris Smalling of Manchester United. Now, I remember in the summer when we were getting linked to people like John O'Shea and that, and fans were like horrified. They were like, no way. But Smalling was a player that was linked with a move with Arsenal before he actually even went to United. Arsenal and Arsene Wenger was very interested in him. He's been at Man United now a couple of seasons. Last season he had a great season, but for some reason this year it's just not happened for him. He seems to have fallen out somehow with Jose Mourinho, which ain't hard, right? Arsenal, the Chelsea squad from last season. But he seems to have fallen out some way with Jose Mourinho. He's not featuring in the team. Jones has come in. Of course, you know, they've made a lot of signings in those areas as well, like Bailly and people like that. And there's a lot of rumours that Chris Smalling, who was the captain last year a lot of games, may be surplus to requirements of Manchester United, and that Arsenal would be interested. Again, for me, I look at this and I think, where would he get in the team? Because you've got Koscielny and Mustafi. They are going to start every game. They've already struck up a very good partnership. Then you've got Gabriel, who's more than competent coming in, and you've got Rob Holding. So Chris Smalling, I mean, you'd have to get rid of somebody, and then would Smalling want to come in, you know, from one team playing second fiddle to come into another big team to play second fiddle when he knows he could go elsewhere? I mean, he's been linked with Everton, for instance, and start automatically. So we'll have to watch that one. I don't think that will personally happen, but he's been linked with a move to Arsenal. A player who's been linked with a move away from Arsenal heavily, and I think he may move on in January, is Carl Jenkinson. Now, he's come back. He's been out for quite a while with injury. Came back. Hasn't done that great since he's come back. He said, listen, it's difficult. I really feel sorry for him because it's difficult to come in after such a long time out and just hit the ground running. And he hasn't really hit the ground running. Arsenal are considering a couple of options on him, apparently. One is sending him out on loan again. There's quite a few clubs interested in taking him on loan. One of them is Hull City, really, really interested in him. But also, there's rumours that they're prepared to listen to offers on him as well. West Ham are apparently really interested in signing him. Of course, he was on loan there for a season, well, over a season at West Ham until he got that injury. And West Ham are apparently interested in signing him on a permanent deal. And Arsenal prepared to listen to offers, which is a real shame. We all know that, you know, Jenkinson's a real Arsenal fan, but it's just not happening for him at the moment. So it could be that we could see Jenkinson move on. Another Arsenal player that's been linked with a move away today is Gideon Zalalem. Now, Zalalem, we know, is a great prospect at Arsenal. You know, as a young player, he seems to have it all. Went on loan last year to Rangers. Spoke to a couple of mates that I got who are Glasgow Rangers fans who said to me, they go, you know, Robbie, he played well, but he's very, very lightweight, right? And you've got to be a bit strong in that Scottish league. But he's been linked with a move today to Borussia Dortmund. Dortmund apparently interested in him, looking at him hard. We've already seen players like Serge Gnabry go back to Germany, and he's been very successful, and he's moved back to Werder Bremen. We already lost him back to Germany. I don't think Arsenal, would they want to lose Zalalem? He's one of the guys that they've sort of been bringing through and sort of talking about being a real future Arsenal star. He's only 19. He's got that dual citizenship because he's born in Berlin, so he can play for Germany and the USA. But Borussia Dortmund apparently interested in him, and you know, that's going to turn a lot of players' heads if Dortmund's interested in him. As we can see, he's not really figuring at all in the Arsenal squad. Even with somebody like Santi being out, Zalalem, you would have thought maybe could be a guy that could come and fill those shoes. But at the moment, obviously, Arsenal looking at it and saying this guy is still quite not ready. So we'll have to watch this space on that one. But that's a big rumour today about Gideon Zalalem. So that's a lot of the rumours going around today. For me, as I said, this January transfer window, the biggest deals for me, for Arsenal to get done is to get Ozil and Alexis Sanchez signed. If those two sign, you know, for me, it'll be a fantastic window. And again, as I said, you know, maybe there are some areas that we could add in. Right back, we've seen Matthew Debuchy's come out this week literally tearing into Arsene Wenger, saying that he's still hardly talks to him. He's upset with Wenger because last season he wanted to move to Man United and Arsene Wenger blocked his move, and so he's upset. Do something on the pitch then, mate, you know what I mean? And then maybe, you know, you'll get games. So it looks like Debuchy, he's going to be gone. Carl Jenkinson could be gone, so then you need cover at right back. I know Gabriel filled in that area, but possibly we need to go and get a right back in case anything happens to Hector Bellerin. We saw Bellerin was already injured this season. Yes, Gabriel covered well, but we've got Champions League games and all that coming up. Maybe a right back, and as I said, maybe a creative midfielder, and maybe if there's any top player out there going that you just can't refuse, maybe Arsenal might move for. We'll be keeping you completely up to date here every single day of January here on AFTV Transfer Daily. Leave your comments below. Who do you think Arsenal should go out there and get? What do we need? I want to hear from you guys. Let me know. We'll read out some of the comments tomorrow. But thanks for watching AFTV Transfer Daily. And we're back!